Hello and welcome to this week's build request. This one's a bit of an unusual one, because it's not so much a build request as it is a request for reverse engineering. So this one comes from the Gaming Sky punter Goat, who's asked me to have a crack at Grunty's Final Showdown vehicles. And so, in this video, I'm going to do my best at replicating Grunty's truck, pirate galleon, stealth vehicle, fortress, and broomstick. This request presented some rather different challenges than I've received on other requests asking me to build replicas or just challenging me to build vehicles. First and foremost, since I was copying a design rather than doing it off the top of my own head, I had to basically follow close instructions, which means, and indeed as you'll see in Thursday's Grim Builds, it was a much slower and more precise process. However, to follow instructions, you must first have instructions to follow, and this meant going into Grunty's Final Showdown, pausing the game, going into camera mode, and taking lots of snapshots of her vehicles from different angles. I quite literally took photos of her vehicles in a physical sense, because I realised it would be a pain in the bottom to keep going back into the actual camera gallery mode in the game, so I rather just positioned the camera in the game and then took photos on my tablet, so I could have the tablet next to me in real life while I made the vehicles in Mumbo's motors. So firstly, Grunty's truck. Grunty's truck was actually very easy to make, is not very complicated, and doesn't really hide any secrets. This is, however, unfortunately not the case for Gruntilda's pirate galleon. Being a far more complicated vehicle, it required a lot more shots from a lot more different angles, and took much longer to make. However, what was possibly the biggest hurdle, in fact so large that it actually made replicating her vehicle impossible to do, is the fact that she cheats. I know what you're thinking. Grunty the Witch cheating? Impossible! She's an upstanding member of society and a pillar of morality. But it's actually true. You see, on her pirate galleon she has 18 floaters, which is rather difficult to replicate considering that 16 floaters is the part limit within the game. To try to get my copy of her vehicle as close as possible, I just spaced out a couple of the floaters a little differently, and also replaced some of the blocks that I think are probably heavy blocks with light blocks because my vehicle was just not floating as well as hers was. This is perhaps because the physics might be slightly different for her vehicles, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll get into why I think that a bit later. It could also be that her driver's seat is actually much lighter than it appears. Despite having to deviate a little bit though, I'm rather happy with how Grunty's pirate galleon turned out, and it felt very Pirates of the Caribbean when my galleon and her galleon were broadsiding each other. Her stealth vehicle is considerably harder to get good photos of because it doesn't exactly have a hollow core, so it's hard to figure out what was between blocks. I did take several photos after blowing holes in it to see what was underneath, but it was definitely less than precise. Regardless, I did get many of the parts correctly, at least the ones you can see on the outside, and it at least looks and functions the same way. Although your copy of her vehicle does appear to be at a disadvantage, because her missiles appear to home against you even when you're invisible, while yours appear to not against her. Her fortress for the most part was extremely easy to replicate because if you run underneath it, it's completely hollow, giving you a good view of all the inner workings. Also a little tip for anyone who's trying to finish this game quickly. If you run underneath the fortress, you can pretty much knock her out of the chair immediately by just using your wrench. However, once again she appears to be cheating because on her fortress she has more spikes than are available to you in the game. To remedy this, I once again just spaced out my spikes a little bit differently. However, also, her vehicle, of which yours is almost an exact replica of, is able to jump far higher than yours and turn in the air, two things that yours will be completely incapable of doing. This is the reason that I suggested that physics might be slightly different for Grunty. She is, after all, a witch. However, in an attempt to replicate this slightly, I did put a balloon at the top of the vehicle on the inside. It may, when inflated, allow you to jump a little bit higher. I'm not entirely certain of this, but it does definitely allow you to turn, so that's at least something. And then finally, Grunty's broomstick. It was actually very easy to replicate, because it doesn't have anything hidden in it because it's a very slender vehicle. And so after taking a photo from each angle, in comparison to the other vehicles, it was a very simple build. Although, admittedly, I did get its colour wrong. It should be brown, I did it red, let's just pretend I did it to make my vehicle faster than hers. And so there you have it, Grunty's 5 Final Showdown vehicles. If you want to replicate any of these vehicles in your own save, stay tuned for the layer by layer of them. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle.